Representative Antenori.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to explain my vote.
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sitting here listening, I've just been motivated to rise and get my 2 cents in. And I want to say I agree, actually, with Mr. Farley and some of the things he said with regards to we're not going to be able to cut our way out of this deficit, and I agree with that. I think the problem is not raising taxes to get out of it either. I don't think we can cut our way out, and I don't think we can tax our way out. The problem is we lost 305,000 private sector jobs in the state of Arizona in the last 2 years. The problem isn't we need more taxes. The problem is we need more taxpayers. So the solution to increasing our revenue isn't by taxing those businesses that have ridden out this recession and stood strong with this state and stayed here and have not abandoned us, by hitting them a more tax burden, maybe encouraging some of them to finally say enough is enough and leave. The idea would be for all of us to get smart about this and reform the business regulation, reform the business taxes, in particular the personal business property tax, one of the most onerous taxes in our business community, and start getting businesses to come to this state, bringing the 300,000 some odd jobs we lost back here, getting our people in this state back to work, getting them off of welfare, back on the tax rolls, and paying taxes. That's what we should be talking about. That's what the governor should be talking about. That's what every representative in this state that has constituents that is out of work should be talking about, and every constituent in this body, or every member of this body that has constituents that work 50, 60 hours a week and pay their taxes should be talking about. Not saddling them with more tax burden after they have had to reduce their spending and their family budgets to survive this recession. You got a lot of guts standing up and telling the people of this state, while their government continues to spend in largesse, to pony up more money and pay for more spending. We need to reform the policies of this state and bring us back up in the top 5% of the most business-friendly states in the United States to do business, and get the jobs back here, and with that, the taxpayers and the revenue to fund all these great and wonderful programs that everybody wants to fund. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I vote aye.
Representative Antenori votes aye. Representative Antenori.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to explain my vote.
Please proceed.
The good gentleman from Tucson brought up responsibility, and the legislature will now be responsible. So I'm waiting for the City Council of Tucson to accept responsibility for the $160 million the taxpayers of this state that they flushed down the drain over the past decade with regard to that program. I'm waiting for them to take responsible for basically deviating from what they came to this legislature and said they were going to do with that hard-earned tax money and spend it on every ridiculous project under the sun. I'm waiting for the city of Tucson to step up to the plate, the city council in particular, and accept responsibility for being one of the only tax increment financing districts that has not completed and actually finished after being approved at the same time as 2 other tax increment financing districts in this state. This bill and the measure in here actually saves the revenue for southern Arizona. Because if this was not in here, I could tell you this legislature would have swept that revenue and the city of Tucson would have gotten nothing. And this measure was to protect that funding and try to salvage what's left of that tax increment financing district for the people of southern Arizona, so we don't lose one of the most economic beneficial things in southern Arizona, and that's the Gem and Mineral Show that brings somewhere between $40 to $100 million in revenue into southern Arizona and helps every community from Marana all the way down to Tubac by filling every hotel and restaurant when that Gem Show's in town. That city has put that economic benefit in jeopardy with their gross mismanagement of this fund over the past 10 years. This legislature has stepped up to the plate with members in this body and members in the Senate to bring much needed reform and oversight to this, and to put the taxpayers' money back under the purview of the taxpayers by having the state auditor general review every dime and every function of that district to ensure that those dollars are now spent wisely from here on out. This measure protects that funding. Boy, I need to check my blood pressure real quick. We have worked hard to get this done. And without this, there would be no Rio Nuevo. There would be no tax increment financing money. There would be nothing. which is exactly what the city of Tucson has done thus far. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Representative Antenori votes yes.